So let's have a look how Outlook Web Access works if you haven't protected it with any multi-factor authentication. You enter the domain / the username and you enter the password, and once you've logged in, you're in your mailbox, and that's it. What do you need to do to protect Outlook Web Access with multi-factor authentication? The first thing you would need to do is log into the management console of SafeNet Trusted Access. You go to Applications and you add the application Outlook Web App. Once added, the next thing you would need to do is enter the redirect URL. Once that is done, you click on Download and Deploy and you download the Outlook Web App package, including the configuration file. So once this is downloaded, you install it and make sure that the agent and the executable are in the same location, because then the application installer will automatically fetch the agent file. Once this is done, you can launch the application and you can check your configuration. So for me, I would like to strip the NetBIOS, so therefore I've enabled this checkbox. I've enabled the agent, and in the communications you can see that the agent file was loaded because it is communicating against my virtual server name nl_azure_demo. And I can compare that with this one. Here on the top right you see the virtual server nl_azure_demo. So therefore I know it is communicating to the correct virtual server. I can test the authentication to see if the server is up, and I can also do an authentication test from here if I want. It goes directly to the Outlook Web App. My username is Verhoeven. I log on and it automatically detects that I do not have a token yet. So let me add an authenticator. It asks me to authenticate with my domain password. And then it's asking me, would you like to add the mobile pass app? Yes, let's add it. Let me do this on my mobile. I have an Android, and now I can simply scan the QR code. And once the activation is done, we can press on continue, and then it will send a push notification to my phone to check if everything is alright. I can see on my phone the Outlook Web App. I enter my PIN, hit continue, and the push notification is sent. And I'm logged in to the application. So now that we know everything is correctly done on the agent, the next thing we would need to do is make a policy. You go to Applications, and I've already created a policy that anybody who is part of the MFA group going to the Outlook Web App must use an OTP. So how does this look like? I enter my domain name, I enter my AD password, and now you see it's redirecting me to SafeNet Trusted Access. It's sending a push notification to my phone. I approve the push. So for the users who are not part of the MFA group, we also create a policy. No MFA Outlook Web Access. We select the No MFA group. We select Outlook Web App. And as you can see, the Outlook Web App will already enforce its own password. So therefore we deselect OTP, we click on Save, and now the users who do not have a token and who are not part of the MFA group will also be able to log in to Outlook Web Access. Have domain/test user with the password and this user is not part of the MFA group, so therefore he does not need to use any OTP. So now let's see how you need to configure star to work in the traditional way with the Outlook Web Access agent. So we can use the same downloads we did in the other part, but now we remove the agent file and we run it as administrator. Now you see that you have a choice. And what we will do, we will not connect it to Star, but we will connect it to SaaS Cloud via the authentication nodes. Now it's asking me, how would you like to authenticate? And we would like to authenticate to the cloud as an agent. So I go to the comms section, auth nodes, and I click auth nodes, and here you can see the primary agent. Second thing, I would need to add an auth node because I need to allow the traffic where it's coming from. And the IP, and I'm not going to use radius. Now we can open the agent, and you see you have some other options like client IP address forwarding, but we will do the same thing, strip net BIOS, enable the agent. And now you see you have authentication methods. So you can use standard authentication mode, which simply is showing you an extra field, the OTP field, or you can use split authentication field where you have two pages, one page for the Microsoft credentials and the other page for the SafeNet credentials. So we're going to use split authentication mode. In the exceptions, you can make exceptions by IP range, or you can even make exceptions by group. This is what we have done in Star with the policy editor, but now we will do it in the agent. So only selected groups must use SafeNet. I'm gonna select the MFA group. Communications is already done during the setup, and let's hit apply and yes for an IAS reset. Once this is done, we can start testing it. So let's start with testing with the user who is part of the MFA group. You see, I need to enter the OTP. And as you can see, I'm now logged into this mailbox with an OTP. Now let's do a logout and try the other user. So now we go again, control, so test user, and this test user is not part of the MFA group, so therefore I should be allowed in without asking for an OTP. And as you can see, it is done like that.